Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Aggieville Alleycats podcast. We'll come rain, shine, or anything in between. We're here to deliver to you the Kansas State sporting news that you so love. I'm Ace Edwards, right alongside
Connor Baltazar.
And welcome once again to a weekly recap. This week's weekly recap will feature men's catsketball, women's catsketball, and the batcats. One of those three was really good. Anyway,
the other two happened.
Verifiably, they didn't need occur. But we can just dive straight into men's catsketball. The first matchup was down in Stillwater in Gallagher-Iba Arena in Stillwater, Oklahoma. It was a 73-68 Wildcat victory. And, a lot of people were talking about the stretch of Iowa State, Baylor, and Oklahoma State being a very critical stretch. It was true. I think I projected us going 1-2. I'm an idiot, apparently. I might be stupid.
I mean, I think we might have both had K-State going 1-2 in that stretch of games. Because we were coming off of that stretch of losses to Tech and OU, and so vibes were not great at that point in time. So I think that's what the logic was. But yeah, now all of a sudden we were definitely proven wrong, and I'm happy about it.
Yeah. I was kind of worried about Gallagher-Iba Arena, and then K-State fans just decided, no, this is our home field now, and just showed up.
Yeah, the away crowd traveling for K-State was pretty fantastic. One of the better away basketball crowds I've really ever seen, because it seems like for basketball, generally teams don't travel super well. Just because a lot of times the games are at awkward times that don't really work for people as well as football might. So now that was really, really good. It was really on the broadcast because you could really audibly hear chants at the end of the game when it was clear that we were going to win. So I'm glad that we were able to get down there and represent.
Yeah. Anyway, do you want to cover the starters as is tradition?
Absolutely. So getting going with the Oklahoma State game, Marquise Noel played 39 minutes, went 5 of 12 from the field, 3 of 8 from 3, and 9 of 10 at the free throw line. Had 5 rebounds, 8 assists, 7 turnovers, 4 steals, and 22 points. So a little shy of a double-double with points and assists. And turnovers were really high with 7, but you still get 8 assists out of them. And that's just kind of the Marquise has been present the last little while, where he's still producing, but just kind of turning the ball over a lot because he's going to take the risky pass. And I'm starting to get more used to it finally. But it still is a little bit painful a couple times a game when there's a bit of a careless turnover. But 4 steals is really, really good as well. Keontae Johnson, he played 39 minutes as well, 7 of 13 from the field, 3 of 5 from 3. I had 5 rebounds. 1 of them was offensive, and he had an assist, 2 turnovers, a steal, and 17 points. Desi Sills played 30 minutes, was 3 of 7 from the field, 4 of 4 at the free throw line, had 4 rebounds and assists, 2 turnovers, a steal, and 10 points. And then rounding out the starting lineup would be Cam Carter and Naquan Tomlin. Cam played 20 minutes, had 7 points, 1 of 2 from 3, and 4 assists at the free throw line, had 3 rebounds, 3 assists, and a turnover. And then Naquan Tomlin had 6 points, perfect, 3 of 3 from the field, and just 17 minutes of play because he had foul trouble again. Then 4 rebounds, 4 fouls, and then 1 turnover. So again, it's the Marquise Noel, Keontae Johnson show with Desi Sills making a guest appearance and everybody else kind of chipping in where they can. But I don't know what else to say other than that's a pretty standard day for the starting lineup. It was a difficult first half. The second half was pretty dicey at times as well, but Keese and Keontae Johnson both got things figured out down the stretch. And Keese going 3 of 5 from 3. That's pretty awesome. 60% is fantastic.
Yeah. In terms of the bench players, David Gasson went 3 of 4 on 19 minutes, getting 4 rebounds, 1 foul, 1 assist, 1 turnover, 1 block, 1 steal. 6 points. So at least getting something in every stat sheet except for 3 pointers and free throws, which, maybe the free throws were for the best. But Ish Masood ended up playing 14 minutes, 2 of 6 from the field, 1 of 4 from three, 1 rebound, 2 fouls, 1 turnover, 5 total points. Then Tyke Green and Bebe didn't score a point, but Tyke both attempted a field goal. Tyke's was a three. Tyke ends up getting 3 rebounds, 3 fouls, 1 block. Bebe ends up getting 1 rebound, 1 foul, and 1 steal. So I think the best way to kind of describe this game was just it verifiably happened. It was a weirdly pedestrian game. Like at least that's what it felt like to me. Wherever maybe that's me coming off of the game that happened last night, but it just felt like a ho hum. We got the victory, cool kind of game.
I do think that is probably you talking about the game that just happened
Yeah.
because I completely forgot. It's been a few days. Oklahoma State had like an 8 point lead. It's like 12 minutes to go, and things were not looking good. They had a 6 point lead under 11 as well, and then there was kind of a back and forth for a bit, and it wasn't really a sure thing until, I mean, if you really want to say sure thing, until Keys hit um, a couple free throws to put us up 7 with under 30 seconds to go. Because the game got super dicey there for a while at the end. Oklahoma State led by 1 with 6 minutes and 23 seconds left. They made a 3 to make it 60-59. But from there, they'd only score 8 more points, and we'd score 14 and end up winning by 5. They made a meaningless jumper with 9 seconds left, and we ended up winning. But it was a grinder on the road against a really good team that we knew was good from the first time that we played them. This game did happen a while ago at this point, but at the time it was huge. This was a pretty much a must-win game, I think, for at least it felt like for K-State, because breaking the road curse and getting another sweep of a team and helping position yourself for a good seed both in Kansas City and also in the NCAA tournament. That makes down the stretch basically every game important. So I was pretty happy with the performance. Definitely struggled at times. And we kind of let them back into it there at the end of the first half. And they actually had a 6 point lead at one point, but we had to narrow that. Desi Sills was huge down the stretch in that first half as well. He had those 2 free throws, and he had the steal and made the layup like right at the buzzer to make it a 2 point game. He was really big energy guy. But there were 11 lead changes in this game. There were 5 times that the score was tied. Jerome Tang got a technical in this game.
Oh
Um,
yeah.
yeah, there a lot of stuff happened in this game, but it's just been a while, and I think we've all kind of collectively forgotten about it since the game had just happened. Which I remember earlier this week, I was like actively trying to remember what happened in this game, and it was working so much better. But I've ingested so many OU game highlights over the last like 24 hours that I can barely remember like what happened in the game before. But like 16 turnovers is a little high. Only getting 11 out of Oklahoma State isn't great, but 8 steals, got to be happy with that. And out rebounding Oklahoma State as well was something that surprised me. We had 33 and they had 30. We also had 7 second chance points on 4 offensive rebounds. So pretty efficient there, honestly, I think for our standards. And we were able to generally attack the paint. Oklahoma State got a lot of points off turnovers, which was unfortunate. But all in all, this was a gritty game where we played better down the stretch. We ended up shooting 52% in the second half and 49% for the game, and then 38% from 3 on the game, 45% in the second half, and then 85% as a team from the free throw line. which is really, really, really good. So,
Mhm.
um, super happy with the performance from this game, but
Yeah.
uh, definitely some bumps in the road.
Yeah. But what matters is we got the dub at the end of the day. And then we got to move on to senior day up against Oklahoma. This was it didn't hit me until the final alma mater played, but this was my final game as a student, final basketball game as a student at K-State. So it was I'll say a touch emotional. I didn't cry. I teared up a little bit, but I did not cry. I thought I would. I'm not gonna lie. But this was an 85-69 Wildcat victory, and it was one to remember for several reasons, and none the least of which was just about every single play that we made in the second half was basically just specifically designed to be Sports Center bait. I don't feel bad about saying that because most plays that we made in the second half were quite obviously Sports Center bait. The Desi behind the back pass, the Marquise behind the back pass, just stuff like that. I What do you
Yeah.
say?
Well, I'll lead with you got a much better last game than I did as a student because
Yours
mine
was
last year,
Baylor?
what's that?
Was it Baylor?
No, it wasn't Baylor. It was OU again, but we lost by 7 to OU last year on senior day. And yeah, I remember that just being like a really unsatisfying, like dull thud to the end. Because well, Baylor was my last football game
Oh
uh
yeah.
as a student, but no, yeah, that was a not a fun time that last game. And there was like maybe 4,000 people there. Like they're listing 6,600 on the website, but there were not 6,600 people in that arena on that day. And that was probably the most barren student section I've ever seen too. But yeah, you got a much better deal. And you're absolutely right about the Sports Center plays. This was a super fun game to watch, especially in the second half. We scored 51 in the second half. That is good, allegedly. And OU actually had a pretty good second half offensively, too. They had 44 points in the second half. But they got locked up in the first half, and a lot of those points did come pretty late. Um, they had two guys that were like kind of killing us whenever they got to the bucket with Uzan and Owe, but really nobody else like did anything. Um, like those two guys combined for 38 points. Like everybody else was kind of struggling along. But yeah, we definitely had a bit of a slow patch there in the first half. OU had a bit of a lead, and then we just took off from there. Just complete domination, really. Um, from the kind of ending portions of the first half where like that last like sequence at the end of the half with the behind the back pass from Desi and the steal and between the legs pass from Marquise to David Gasson. That 5 point swing there was huge and pretty much sealed Oklahoma's fate. Like obviously it didn't feel like that at the time, but I think in hindsight that was about it for Oklahoma unless they could get out to a hot start in the second half, which they did not. And then K-State was able to kind of coast from there, save for 1 point where it got a little bit close. It never got to single digits, but it was a little bit too close. But then we stretched out again a little bit more and everything was fine. But I can get into the starters now. For once, we have a non Keontae Johnson or Marquise Noel leading the scoring. It was Naquan Tomlin. He, granted, was cheating because most of his made shots were dunks, which I can't imagine what it was like being in the student section for that second half with all of
Uh-huh.
the dunks and incredible shots going on. Because I mean, as a team, we were just not missing in the second half. It felt like, um, and Tomlin he goes 8 of 9, 2 of 2 from three as well. Every
He
time
shouldn't be allowed to
yeah,
do that.
He made a actually really timely three in the first half. We were down 6, I think,
Mhm.
and he took a three, and I just was like, every time he takes a three when we're losing, I just groan, but then it goes in, and I'm like, all right, fine. And then he made another one the second half. Made his one free throw attempt, had 5 rebounds. Did not have any assists, but he did not have any turnovers either. He had 2 blocks. He had 2 fouls as well, so stayed out of foul trouble, and had 19 points. And a lot of those were dunks. According to KSU_fans dunk tracker, he's now got the most dunks in a single season in KSA history with 36, I think it is. So I think he's averaging basically more than one a game, actually, right now, which kind of tracks. But fantastic game, especially great second half for Naquan Tomlin doing all that in just 25 minutes. That is pretty awesome. Had some great transition dunks, a couple of big threes. Good for him to really have that great day. Throwing a couple blocks as well. But Keontae Johnson, he played 35 minutes, 7 to 12 from the field, 2 4 from 3, 5 rebounds, 1 foul, 2 assists, 3 turnovers, 3 steals, and 16 points. Those 3 steals, one of them led to a big Naquan dunk because he stole it and had the outlet to Keese, who then did the like no look wraparound pass kind of to Naquan. He was just making things up at the end, I think. But Keontae, 2-4 from 3 is really good. He's been shooting really well from 3, especially as of late. Sometimes he is passing shots up that I think he should take from 3. It's hard to complain that much about him, but sometimes he just needs to take the open shot. But I digress. Desi Sills inserted in the starting lineup the last few games, 35 minutes, 5 of 9 from the field, including a really great transition layup and a huge dunk off of a steal. 0 of 2 from 3. He did make one, but they called like a phantom push off. At least on the broadcast angle, didn't really look like much of a push off. Like there were worse ones than that didn't get called in the game. And he made the 3 off of it, but the whistle blown, so it didn't matter. 5-6 at the line, pretty good for him. 9 rebounds, 8 assists. So Desi Sills was flirting with a triple double. He was 1 rebound and 2 assists away from the first ever triple double in KCA history. No one's ever done that. He had 2 offensive rebounds, 3 fouls, 2 turnovers, a block, 2 steals. That was a brutal block that I think is kind of getting lost. And the highlights of this game is the crazy block that Desi Sills had on. I forget who it was. But
victim.
it was somebody that probably didn't deserve the shame that they that they have received, because that was pretty rough. what he did. I've been very, very happy with how Desi's been playing the last little bit now. 8 assists to 2 turnovers is fantastic. 15 points for Desi. Gotta love what he's been bringing to the table. And if he can continue playing like this, then this team really has a shot to go somewhere. Because Desi just brings another element to the game that you need, I think. Because Keese is the outside scorer and distributor. Keontae can get to the bucket, is super athletic, and has outside scoring potential as well. And then Desi is just a downhill charger and energizer bunny sort of player, and that just wants to get to the bucket and basically be faster than you. He's the number 3 guy that I think that would really help. Although, of course, Naquan Tomlin, if he can continue to score 19 a game, then that won't matter.
Yeah.
But great day for Desi. Keese, though, he had a really solid day too, all things considered. Scoring, he came in waves for him. 3 of 9 from the field, 3 of 5 from 3. Only took 2 free throws, made them both. 3 rebounds, 3 fouls, 10 assists, or just 1 turnover. Very quiet 10 assists. I did not notice that he had that many until after the game. I checked the stats and I was like, good job. But then he had 3 steals and 11 points. And Cam Carter, 2 of 5 from the field, 2 of 3 from 3, 1 of 2 at the free throw line, 5 rebounds, 3 offensive rebounds. Then a foul, 2 assists, 2 turnovers. and 7 points in 24 minutes for Cam Carter. All in all, really, I think what we got from the starting lineup is basically everybody fit their role, I think. The only thing that I think maybe you'd like change is just Keontae scoring more points, I guess. But like that's like the only way you could fit his role more. Because I think Tomlin is just supposed to be a guy that dunks.
Yeah.
Like that, like that's him. That's Yamquan Tomlin. And or Boombox Tomlin. And
Boombox Naquan.
Boombox Naquan. But
Watching that get spammed under the OU like final
yeah,
announcement tweet was very funny.
it was very funny. And
That may be the
they
quickest a meme of ours has spread.
yeah, that one is spreading pretty quickly, honestly. I'm happy with it. Although whoever started the Yehante Johnson with the cowboy hat, I really appreciated that.
Yeah.
Super, super funny. Um, but everybody kind of fit their role in this game. Keys did score, did hit his deep threes, but also had 10 assists and took care of the ball. Desi stuffed the stat sheet more than I think you could ever really ask for, considering
Yeah.
he was very close to a triple double, but you'll take it. Cam Carter took and made open threes, 2 of 3 on his 3-pointers. That's what you want from Cam Carter, is to be a guy that trails the play or just knows how to maneuver without the ball and also plays excellent defense. He might be the best defender on this team. So gotta love all this. Gotta love everything that you got from the starters in this game.
Yeah. Bench was pretty solid as well. David Gasson had 16 minutes, 4 of 5 from the field, 1 of 4 from the free throw line, 2 rebounds, 1 foul, 1 turnover, 9 points. Tyke Green coming off the bench, 8 minutes, 2 of 3 from the field, 0 of 1 from three, 2 fouls, 1 turnover, 1 block, 4 points. Abayemi Igiola had 8 minutes himself, 1 of 1 from the field, 0 of 2 from his free throw attempts, which I think that's the first time he's missed both. But 3 rebounds, 1 turnover, 2 points. And the shocking stat of the day is Nate Aubrey scores more than Ish Massoud. Nate Aubrey plays 1 minute, 0 of 1 from the field, but makes both of his free throws to get 2 points. Ish Massoud plays 12 minutes, goes 0 of 6 from the field, 0 of 2 from three, does get an offensive rebound, does draw a foul or does foul once, then a turnover. So aside from the fun fact of Nate Aubrey scoring 2 more points than Ish Massoud, it was another fine day from the bench. David Gasson, I think, has started frustrating me a little bit more because while he was 4 of 5 from the field, there were a couple times when he just absolutely stone-handed a pass or just like gets decimated on a rebound attempt or, misses 3 of his 4 free throws. So I don't think David Gasson is bad. I think he's kind of regressed to the mean for him.
Yeah, and it looks like he aggravated his injury as well at some point in the game too, because he had to leave the floor. He came back in, but he definitely didn't look the same after that. But he also missed the free throws before that happened, so that's not an excuse for that.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, there's a lot to like from the bench production too, I think. I also did see some misinformation going around about Nate Aubrey. He had scored a point before this game. He made a free throw against Florida. This was not his first career points. I saw even the official K-State Twitter account, the men's basketball Twitter account, was like saying, I think they said something about Nate getting his first career points when that is not the case. He now has 3 career points instead of 2. So give him that respect.
Don't disrespect Nate Aubrey. You
Yeah.
give this man the points he's earned.
Yeah. Ish, honestly, his stat line's pretty bad, but my thing is that he really put himself in pretty good positions. He was getting right to the bucket a lot, and the only thing he didn't do is he just couldn't quite finish, and they weren't calling the foul and the contact. So I think that's just like kind of an outlier game for him. He missed 2 open threes, and he missed 4 shots at the rim that, albeit were contested, but normally either draw fouls or roll in. But he just didn't get the luck at the bounce.
Yeah.
So I don't hold it against him. Rough night for Ish, but good night for everybody else. We can talk a little bit about the senior day festivities, I guess, if you want. You were there, so you'll know
Yeah.
better than I did.
The senior day festivities were, at least in the beginning, they were kind of like they were pretty standard, the introduction of everybody, having them stand in front of their jerseys, introduce their family. I didn't know Bebe had a kid. Uh,
Was that his child?
yes.
I did not know that.
Yeah, Bebe has a wife and child.
I did not know that. I thought it was just like they just like shipped like his nephew from like Nigeria or something.
Mhm.
Like
Nope, that's his
I
kid.
good for him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, so all the seniors, the pregame I thought was fine. I thought it was tasteful, just giving every one of them their moment. And then the post game happened where Tang, he takes command of the room. And there are very few people that can command a room like Tang does. And then he just gives all the seniors the opportunity to talk. The highlight was Desi Sills becoming like this might be a really weird poll that very few people are going to get, but he genuinely was like the guy in the introduction of the Warriors, where I halfway expected him to just go like, "Can you dig it?" And that's a deep poll that like maybe two people on this earth are going to get. But Warriors is a very good movie, but Desi ends up rocking the mic and rocking the crowd. Every other senior gets their words in. Bebe, talks. Taiki talks. Those were definitely two of the shorter ones because I don't think that they're the kind of people who are like necessarily crowd people. I think they're just kind of say what they need to say and then just get out. But Desi rocked the mic. KJ admitted that he's going to get a K State tattoo. I wonder what the tattoo is going to be. But of course, Keese talked, but it was all just it was good. It was a good senior day, especially to win. And of course, the entire team coming up to celebrate with the students with the Wabash. That was special.
Yeah, I was about to ask about that. How was that? Like describe well, first of all, where were you sitting in the this arena?
Row 20,
20,
section
okay.
20, row 20.
So were you like a little bit too far back to like be like in that crowd?
Yeah. Like
Ah,
I think we may have moved a little bit closer, but everyone kind of circled around them. And I think we saw the mass of humanity and said, I don't feel like getting swallowed today. So we like
understandable.
stayed like a row or two back. But from what we saw, it was everyone was kind of piled in. Watching Bebe do any kind of dance is very funny because he participated in the tunnel dance as well. And Bebe's not a dancer. We'll say that.
Yeah.
We we'll
He
we'll say
that
that.
that kind of honestly tracks because sometimes I like see him like move on the floor and I'm like he looks a little stiff. Like so does that carry over to
Yes.
his dance moves?
Yes.
Oh, that's too bad.
Yeah. But senior day festivities were really cool. And Tang actually on the court with all the seniors held like arm in arm with everybody while doing the alma mater. And then of course it capped off with one final sandstorm for the seniors at home. So
Yeah, that was the last thing I wanted to ask you about was the sandstorm. Did they like shut out the lights or anything like
no,
they did? They didn't? Oh, that's too
no.
bad.
They just played the song basically.
All right, but yeah, that's pretty cool. From my vantage point, I don't think I can imagine a better senior day because every senior was able to score. Because Bebe was not in the game and they realized he hadn't scored, so they put him back in and he like got a rebound and got a layup and they took him out again.
Yep.
I was I liked that every senior got a curtain call. Um, I imagine being an OU fan watching that was probably infuriating because
Oh
you
yeah.
were like, can the game just end? And we just kept like having sub timeouts and everything. Um, on the also another thing that was interesting on the broadcast, They seem to kind of be saying that they thought the officials at the end of the game when Nate Aubrey was driving, they called a foul, even though it kind of wasn't one, just to give him a shot to score. I don't know if that's something that they do. Um, that'd be really funny if it was.
Yeah.
I don't know if I believe it, but maybe that's the case. I'm not really sure, but I just thought that was something interesting that they mentioned. But it sounds like it was a pretty awesome environment. Did you get one of the hats?
Yes, I did. Hang on.
All right, I'm very happy to hear that because yeah, that looks awesome.
Yeah,
That lavender flag Willie.
yeah. You have to be very careful. You have to enunciate the L there.
Yeah, they made some awesome hats. I I was a little bit jealous of some of the gear that you guys were getting. Like that reversible bucket hat is pretty cool. There's another Hawaiian shirt this year, I think, too.
That one I couldn't go to because that was the game I had bronchitis.
Ah, no, that's too bad.
That's the
Uh,
one I missed, and that's the one I kind of wish I had the most.
I got two Hawaiian shirts in my time. Okay, but I lost one. I don't know where it is. It's just lost to the ages.
Well,
But
Connor, don't worry. Whenever we're setting up the official Aggieville Alleycats HQ, it will become our hat.
I don't have to use your. You don't have to donate that to me. They probably sell it elsewhere, honestly.
They do. I think they said it sold out though. Like they put it online the day that the game was, and it sold out because
Oh,
anything lavender K State sells out
it does though.
instantly.
Yeah, it does. Um, I hope that they make more lavender gear here pretty soon. But back to the game, I guess.
We pretty much covered everything.
Only other things I wanted to talk about was that we only had 12 turnovers as a team, uh, and 22 assists compared to that. So 22 assists on 32 made field goals. That's a really good assist rate. Love to see that. We shot in the second half from the field 70%, 19 and 27 from the field in the second half, 50% from three as well, 4 of 8 from 3-point land in the second half, which is really, really, really good. And then as a team, just from 2-point range, in the second half, we were 15 of 19 in the second half, which is 79%, according to my quick and probably wrong calculations. But we were pretty much on fire the entire second half. Only 63% from the free throw line, but again, 3 of those misses were David Gasson trying his best, and then 2 of them were Bebe honestly having uncharacteristic misses. He's actually pretty reliable at the line, so
Yeah.
that was kind of unusual. But 44 points in the paint, 20 points off turnovers, 24 fast break points. That's going to win you a lot of games. Like, and that, and even in a game where OU didn't shoot poorly, they shot 43% from the field and 40% from three and 84% the free throw line. That's not a bad performance at all from OU, from the free throw line and from the field, even, I should say. But they just couldn't do enough to keep up with us. We just got to the rim a lot more, and that's really about it. Like we just, it's that simple. They didn't play an awful game. A lot of those makes did come late when it didn't matter, but we we're just a better team, and I think that this is probably how the first game should have gone if we had played to our full potential. But we get our revenge nonetheless, so can't complain too much.
Yeah, can't complain about that at all. The last game of the season is up against West Virginia, and if we end up winning that game, we are guaranteed a 2 seed at the Big 12 tournament. If we lose, it gets a lot more complicated. If we lose, everyone else loses. Like Texas and Baylor, if they both lose, we get a second seed. If we end up losing and one of them end up winning, it's the one who wins unless both Baylor and Texas win. Then Baylor goes because wait,
If both
Texas goes
Baylor,
as
if,
the tiebreaker, I think.
um, I don't. I think it would be Texas over Baylor because their tiebreaker would be the record against us. But K-State relevancy, if we win, we get the 2 seed. If everybody loses, then we still get the 2 seed.
Mm-hmm.
If we lose and one of the teams loses, we get the 3. If we lose and Texas and Baylor both win, then we get the 4. So we are guaranteed at least a 4 seed. But I'd really, really, really like to get the 2 seed and stay on that side of the bracket. Because you get the 2 seed, then you get one of the play-in teams, and then semis, you'll ideally get a somewhat favorable matchup because I think you'll probably be on the opposite side of the bracket as TCU because I don't want to play TCU because that is a dangerous team now that they are fully healthy.
Yeah. But that is the men's catsketball team. And now we can talk about the women's catsketball team. They ended up playing 2 games, one against West Virginia, another against Oklahoma. Both were losses, both were away. West Virginia was a 67-58 loss, and it's just another women's catsketball away loss. Serena Sundell plays 38 minutes, 9 of 13 from the field, 1 of 2 from 3. Got both of her free throws, 4 total rebounds, 3 fouls, 4 assists, 7 turnovers. Very uncharacteristic of her. 2 blocks, 3 steals, 21 points. Jalen Glenn, 38 minutes, 4 of 13 from the field, 4 of 10 from 3. She's gotten pretty hot from 3 recently. 4 rebounds, 4 fouls, 2 assists, 4 turnovers, 1 block, 3 steals, 12 points. Gabby Gregory has an uncharacteristic not double-digit day. 37 minutes, 3 of 10 from the field, 0 of 3 from 3. Did make all 3 of her field goals. Sorry, that was a hiccup. 10 rebounds, one foul, 4 assists, 6 turnovers, 9 total points with a steal. Briley Glenn, 23 minutes, 2 of 8 from the field, 1 of 4 from 3. 1 rebound, 1 foul, 2 turnovers, 5 points. And then Sarah Shamatzi ends up playing 11 minutes, 0 of 2 from the field, both of which were threes, 3 rebounds, 2 fouls, and no points. So really all you got to look at is a couple of stats here and realize, oh, that's why. The 7 Serena Sundell turnovers, that's not like her at all. And then Gabby Gregory not getting into double digits, that's rare and also not a winning formula. So, yeah.
No, yeah, you're 100% right. Sundell, super efficient from the field, but that's really it. And bench wise, not a ton of production if your name isn't Eliza Maupin. But she played a really good game. I mean, she had 11 points on 5 of 7 from the field. Did miss 2 free throws, but she still gets 9 rebounds. 25 minutes, almost had a double-double. She did foul out and had 3 turnovers, but 11 points and 9 rebounds is good for Eliza Maupin. Emily Ebert did not score in 24 minutes, had 2 rebounds, 3 fouls, a turnover, and 3 steals. And Heavenly Greer played 4 minutes and had a rebound. 27% from 3 as a team, 41.8% from the field overall, and 66.7% at the free throw line. And this was, yeah, I think you said it well. This is a classic women's catsketball road game where we get down by a lot early. In the second quarter, we trailed at our widest margin. We trailed by 19 to 38. Third quarter, we trailed by as much as 18, just about 2 minutes in. By the end of the third quarter, we had narrowed it down to 5. And early in the fourth, we actually tied it. About 30 seconds in, we tied it at 45, but we still end up losing by 9. Just could not find a way to hold on. I mean, that's story of the century, I guess, for this team. Narrow the margin and just not able to hold on and find a way to finish strong and finish it out. But yeah, West Virginia just able to hold off a furious comeback from the women's basketball team. Unfortunately, seems we're really good at the comeback, but not very good at holding it once we get there.
Yeah, I think that's probably the best way to say it. It's worth noting that there was never ever a time where K-State led in this game. So
Yeah, yeah, just that one tie in the fourth quarter. That was it.
yeah. So there's not much to say about that one. This next one, there is quite a bit to say, um, because it hurt, and it hurt more than normal because it was a matchup down in OU, a ranked OU squad, and really amazing OU squad this year. It was a 90-86 loss, ended up taking overtime to take us down. And yeah, we'll talk stats before we talk everything else that happened. Serena Sendell, 39 minutes, 11 of 17 from the field, 2 of 5 from 3, 9 of 16 on the free throws. Keep that in mind. That's important. 3 rebounds, 3 fouls, 4 assists, 6 turnovers, 3 steals, 33 total points.
Career high.
Jay, yeah, very good. 45 minutes from Jalen Glenn, 8 of 18 from the field, 3 of 10 from 3, 2 of 2 on her free throws, 7 rebounds, 3 assists, 1 turnover, 6 steals. As you do.
Wild.
Yeah, like as one does. Gabby Gregory, 44 minutes, 5 of 15 from the field, 3 of 9 from 3, 3 of 6 on her free throws, 6 rebounds, 4 fouls, 3 assists, 4 turnovers, 3 steals, 16 points. And then the rest of the starters happen. Briley Glenn plays 4 minutes, probably. I think she got hurt. Then 1 of 1 from the field, 2 points. Sarah Shramazzi plays 16 minutes, 0 of 3 from the field. All of those were threes. 3 rebounds. She ends up fouling out. 1 assist, 1 steal, no total points. So once you cover the vastly impressive bench, we can talk about this game in a general sense.
Yeah. Bench Eliza Maupin had a really good game. One of her best. 27 minutes. She played 5 of 9 from the field, 4 of 6 from 3. Ended up, or 4 of 6 at the free throw line, I should say. Had 14 points, 5 rebounds. 3 of those were offensive rebounds. And a lot of those rebounds, she just comes in flying from absolutely nowhere. And it's very impressive to watch. And she
From
also
the top rope.
Yeah. No, she caught a lob at one point. We run those with Mop and Eliza, a backside lob play. Yeah, there's 5 rebounds, 2 fouls, just 2 fouls. That's pretty notable for her. Then 2 turnovers, a block, and a steal. Fantastic performance from Maupin. She played a lot down the stretch, especially with Shramazzi having really just not a good game at all, fouling out in just 16. But if you wanted bench production for anybody else, you weren't going to get points. Rebecca Dollinger, Heavenly Greer, and Emily Ebert all played 15 plus minutes and did not score points. They were combined 0 of 6. Dollinger had 2 fouls, 1 assist. She did have 3 steals at least, which is good. And then Greer fouled out in 16 minutes, had an assist, a turnover, a block, and a steal. And then Ebert had 4 rebounds, a foul, 3 turnovers, and a block. But yeah, just really painful ending after really not having much faith at one point in this game. But you want to get into that now?
Yep.
All
All right.
right.
So at one point we were down by as much as 30-8 in this game. That is notable. That is extremely notable because, you play the majority, like you play the first half. Granted, you matched them 21-21 in the second quarter, but that doesn't change the fact that you were outscored 24-8 in the first quarter. So Connor and I had pretty low expectations for the rest of the game, and then they drop a 28-13 third quarter. K-State does. We're like, okay, interesting. And then they end up leading for, towards the back end of the fourth quarter. We had 8 seconds to hold, I believe at the time it was a 3-point lead. Okay, that's doable. You just need to make your free throws. Um, well, someone bricks one. I don't remember who bricked the first one. It was like, well, okay, it's still a 3-point game. And we end up getting fouled one more time. Serena Sundell goes to the line. The normally reliable, really amazing free throw shooter, Serena Sundell, goes to the line. You think, oh, no worries. We're on our way to win this game. There's 6 seconds left. There's a 2-point game with Serena Sundell going to the line. At minimum, she bricks both.
Yeah. There's a,
And OU ends up going right back. After we end up fouling them, they just come up with an inbound play and score two. We're going to
yeah.
overtime.
Yeah, it was K-State, yeah, it was back and forth that entire fourth quarter. OU did stretch it out to 8 at one point, but K-State cuts it back down and is eventually able to take the lead with 2 minutes to go. And they extended a little bit all the way out to 4 after a pair of made free throws, 28 seconds left with Jalen Glenn. So we led by 2 possessions with 28 seconds to go. OU makes a jumper with 19 seconds. Bad foul call on Sundell. Like, it was just a bad call. It did not matter because OU missed a shot. We rebound. There's a foul. Gregory misses a free throw, 6 seconds left. And then she makes the second. So 3-point game. And then we foul before they inbound the ball. Since with the 3-point lead, you foul and you let them try and make their free throws, and they only make 1. So OU's down by 2. They foul us, and Sundell misses both, which is super uncharacteristic. But your 2 best players going 1 of 4 at the free throw line in the final 10 seconds of the game is just brutal.
That one hurts.
Yeah, there's no getting around that. Sundell, who she had a fantastic game, probably the best game of her career, 79% free throw shooter, 80% for her career, and just not able to convert in the big moment. And then OU gets the rebound, calls timeout, and then the play they ran really wasn't super complicated. It was just misdirection. They pass it into a really good shooter, and then just run a back door with the player that passed it in, and our defender just fell asleep and basically let them go right to the rim pretty much untouched. And they make the layup right at the end of regulation, take it to overtime, and then they just kind of outplay us. And that's it. But what a frustrating game. To finally get the shot in your last road game of the season, to get your first road win, your first road win all season against the 16th ranked OU Sooners, and potentially spoil their Big 12 title bid, or at least their solo Big 12 title bid. But instead, there's no other way to say it. We blew it. Despite a fantastic comeback, one of the better comebacks K-State has had in any sport, but nobody's going to remember because we lost the game, and that just sucks. We shot 8 of 30 on the game from 3, including 2 of 14 in the first half. We had a 5 of 7 third quarter from 3, which is good, but 60% at the free throw line, pretty bad. And if your 2 best players make one more free throw, at least one more free throw in the final 6 seconds of the game when they had 4 attempts, then that's probably a dub right there. If they make 2, go 3 of 4 combined, then that's a 2 possession game, I think, at that point.
Mm-hmm.
Which it just hurts because
Mm-hmm.
it's games like this that show the potential that this team has talent wise, and just not able to convert. And despite going down 22, fighting all the way back, a fantastic comeback. And at the end of the day, did not amount to anything. And K-State still runs the risk of finishing at 500, which I don't know if that, I think you can make it to the NIT at 500, but I don't know for sure. I don't remember if it's 500 or above 500 to be in the NIT. But really, really, really tough showing from K-State. And just didn't really play clutch basketball. In those last like few seconds of the game, I think I think that we were surprised to be there, maybe. And we just didn't really know how to handle it. I'm not really sure. I'm not sure what all goes into blowing a lead like that at the end, but man, that definitely sucked to watch and would definitely hurt a lot more if we weren't also playing OU and men's basketball at the same time.
Nope.
So we were able to get pretty quick revenge in that regard. But I don't know. I've been talking for a while. I guess. What are your thoughts?
I don't like that. It hurt. Made me sad.
It made me sad too, man.
I just it I'm I don't want to say I'm over it, but like I'm over it. Like and by it I mean the women's basketball season. I'm over it at this point. Like, and that's such a terrible thing to say about a K-State sport, a university I love, a team that I love, but I'm over it. Because our last game is up against Texas. I'm sorry. I'm okay. First off, what genius thought it'd be a good idea to schedule Texas as our senior day?
I don't know, but unfortunately it has to be somebody. So I guess we just got the short end of the stick there. Although I seem to remember them, maybe they weren't our senior day last year, but I know we played them fairly late in the year. They were not our senior, they were our second to last home game last year. We had West Virginia at home for senior day last year. So I digress on that. But yeah, frankly, getting Texas at any time isn't really good. I'd simply rather just not play them because they're a dominant force of nature that
Soon we will get our wish.
Yeah, they're an unstoppable force of nature that faces a very movable object when they face us, especially in Austin. I don't know. I guess never say never. I definitely didn't think we'd have a shot against OU, and we nearly got them. So I guess it comes down to if Mitty can get the team motivated and try and carry momentum into Kansas City Municipal, but. I think I might be with you. I think this season has about had the curtain call. I think the show's about over on this women's basketball season, which is unfortunate because this team got off to such a good start. Like I was very excited about this team for a while.
Yeah, see, that's where they get you.
That's where they get you. Same thing. It's like the Batcats, but.
Well, the bat. You know what? You want to serve that? You want that to be the transition?
Yeah, might as well. We have to talk about them at some point.
Yeah, yeah. So the Batcats. We're not going to go through on a game by game basis because all of them are losses. We lost to number one LSU 3-7. We lost to Sam Houston 3-8. We lost to Iowa 5-6. We left Texas 500. Then we're like, oh, well, Omaha, University of Omaha, they're not a very good school. Like I think they'd won one game before this game. We're leading 6-2, like and going into the seventh inning. Oh, this will be an easy. We lost 6-7.
Is that bad?
It's pretty bad.
Yeah.
So we can start with the positives. So that way, people who want to hear the positive part can go on with their day after, so they don't have to experience what's going to come after. Brendan Jones, massive positive, really good hitter, came out of nowhere.
he gets on base. Billy Bean loves Brendan Jones.
Yeah.
I I
Yeah.
mean, I will quickly break down Brendan Jones' stats,
Mhm.
simply because they actually are pretty good for the most part. Uh, 1 for 3 with a run and a walk against LSU as a leadoff guy. Um, and he stole a base as well. Um, two for 0 for 2 with 2 strikeouts against Omaha, but walked 3 times. So he still scored 2 runs. I don't know why my games are out of order. Sam Houston, 1 for 3, draws another walk, scores another run. And then against Iowa, he stole 2 bases in this game, went 3 for 5, scored a run, had a strikeout. Not bad. In fact, good even. But he's he's been a really good leadoff guy for us so far this year, and I am pleasantly surprised because he played some last year, but not a ton.
Hmm.
And out of kind of nowhere, all of a sudden, he's been pretty impressive so far this year. I think he's batting nearly 400 as things stand. He was above 400 prior to the Omaha game, but I mean, he only had 2 ABs in that game because of the walks. But I digress. Brennan Jones good.
Brendan Jones good. Roberto Pena is a pretty solid power bat. Uh, Owen Borima proved that he can pitch at this level and he can do it effectively with his stellar outing up against LSU.
Yeah,
I
he definitely got pulled too early.
Yeah,
I think he should have finished his inning. I get why, but I disagree. I
yeah,
like he just hit a batter, and I think we were worried that it was going to get out of control, but then it did get out of control.
well, yeah.
With Tyrell.
It got out of control. We'll talk about that in the negatives.
Yeah, yeah, you're right. You're right.
Other outside of that, I we have a few. Our catchers defensively are great. Both Caden Phillips and Rafael Pelletier. Our bullpen has a few young pieces that I really like, especially Mason Buss, and Ty Rule is still very good. If you wanted the positives, there you go. You have them. Here we go. So here are the things that are not good. Firstly, Pete Hughes and his managerial decisions. We mentioned earlier that we think Owen Borima should have continued his outing up against LSU. But that's fine. Sometimes you get paranoid and you pull a pitcher too early. That happens. But what shouldn't happen is you take your best reliever, you let him pitch for a lot of the game, you let him eat up some innings, you see him get into trouble, and then completely leave him out to dry. You basically look at Tyrell, your best reliever, and say, no, I hate you. Die.
See, the thing with Tyrell is he actually only pitched 2 innings, but he faced 13 batters, which was only 5 fewer than Borima,
Mm-hmm.
because you're right, he got left out to dry. Like Borima threw 68 pitches and 4 1/3. Tyrell threw 51 and 2. So suboptimal. I agree with you.
Yeah, he has a tendency to like he will take really effective pitching, especially from relievers. Like he'll take effective reliever Tyrell. Granted, that wasn't Tyrell's day, but he should recognize that. Mason Buss in the Omaha game is another good example. Mason Buss is a really good, I think, 1 to 2 inning guy. He was asked to go like past his limit, and then he was pulled way too late. And then Weissenbecker has to pick up the pieces, and he can't. Like he's too. Like I don't want to put that's what I think you need like a fireman experienced reliever. And this is no disrespect to Weisenbaker, because I think he's another one of our are going to be a really good bullpen piece. But he shouldn't be our fireman. Mason Buss had a good outing up until that last inning. He gets pulled, and our fireman is another true freshman. And then predictably, because he's a true freshman, it has nothing to do with his actual ability. Just sometimes when you're a true freshman, you get rattled. So that inning, we end up giving up 4, and that's the inning that ends up deciding the game. And Pete Hughes just mismanaged the entire situation. And it's frustrating.
Yeah, that's putting it mildly. Another thing worth mentioning on that Omaha game, we had 4 guys get caught stealing in that game. Dom Hughes, Nick Goodwin, Cash Rugeley, and Caden Phillips all get caught stealing in the Omaha game. Brendan Jones, the only successful stolen base and in this game. Fielding, that's not, we haven't even talked about fielding yet.
Well, before we talk about fielding, there's one notable injury we have to talk about, and that's to Kalen Culpepper. We probably should have mentioned this first,
Yeah.
but Kalen Culpepper in the 9th inning of the LSU game ends up breaking a bone in his hand. It's speculated he will be out to 4 to 6 weeks, and that is big because Kalen Culpepper is, without a doubt, I don't care what the errors say at the beginning of this year, Kalen Culpepper is our most consistent and best defender, especially at third base. And you want proof of that? Look at what happened when we tried to replace him.
I don't want to. Yeah, absolute disaster class. Especially that first game. That we tried to replace him, and there's still been issues. I mean, we had 4 defensive errors against Omaha, 3 of them from first baseman Coase, who granted he is a freshman, but he was getting pulled off the bag a little bit, but also some of the he was dropping catchable throws. But third base, figuring that out has been a whole separate beast. Pena has been okay there. He's been fine, like not like really bad or anything. I think we wanted to keep him at second, but he's just gonna have to live with it for now. Brady Day's running second base now. But this team is already a team that needs a lot to go their way to win baseball games, and losing Kalen Culpepper makes it even more difficult because he is one of the most talented guys on the team and is probably a future draft pick. And losing him for any amount of time is a massive handicap to this team. There's really no getting around that because he brings so much to the plate. He's really a complete player. There's not much that he can't do effectively. He's got really good plate vision. He makes really good contact. He runs the bases really well, and he's a really good defender too. Last year he really only had 1 series with bad defense. That was at Tech, and half of that was because the sun was at a weird angle when he committed his errors. And this year he had a bit of a rough start, but that's the outlier to Kalen Culpepper. But man, that really hurts this team. That and being so far inconsistent at best with starting pitching is granted, a lot of that is fielding issues. We don't field well even when it doesn't show up as an error.
Jackson Wentworth is getting screwed.
Yeah, Jackson Whitworth has a really bad stat line. There is no getting around that. It is not entirely his fault. In fact, it is mostly not his fault. He's giving up a lot of hits right now, but at least some of that has to be placed on the field. And that man needs help, and he is not getting it right now. I don't know what do you take the mic, you say something.
All right, so specifically with Jackson Wentworth, the new pitching coach Darrow has shifted the philosophy from last year. Where last year it seemed like it wanted to be a lot of power pitching and a lot of strikeouts. This year's philosophy, according to Brian Smoller in an interview he did with Darrow, and I trust Brian Smoller, is the pitching philosophy this year is fill up the strike zone. Cool. That's a really good philosophy. You can win a lot of games just by filling up the strike zone and inducing weak contact. However, you have to have the defense behind it to actually justify it. And guess what? We don't. And the problem, is that it's not just one person. Because if it's just if it's third base, just keep plugging people in there until eventually you make it work. Okay, our outfield defensively is fine. Maybe Sans arm strength for two of the three positions, but our infield is a disaster. The only piece that I feel consistently good about their fielding is Brady Day at second. And that's not because I feel great. It's because I know he's not going to pee his pants the moment he steps onto the field. Nick Goodwin has developed as a fielder, but he's still inconsistent at best. Orlando Salinas should never be playing third base again. I don't think he should have been there to begin with. And that's no disrespect to Orlando Salinas. That's me saying that Pete Hughes needs to do better as a manager and knowing exactly what his players can do. Orlando Salinas is a right fielder slash first baseman slash designated hitter. That is exactly what his role should be, and it shouldn't be anything different. Roberto Pena has done a solid job filling in at third base, but he's not going to replace defensively what Kalen Culpepper can do, and that's exactly what we're asking him to do with a system that requires us to get weak contact. And then whenever we put Kai and Lotus at first base, we're putting a lot of onus on him, even though you're asking a lot of a first baseman. It's like, that's a pretty simple position. No, it is not, especially for a true freshman who is by trade a second baseman.
Anything else?
As you can tell, I'm a little bit passionate about this issue.
Yeah. I think he summed it up pretty well. I think he summed up my thoughts too. But I think you're right that right now the infield is just not in a sustainable position. The one thing that you can grant as leeway is that Kalen Culpepper getting hurt is a massive blow. Like there's no getting around that. That hurts. But that is still not an excuse for the really poor performance of the infield over this last week and a half or so. And it's a shame because we were very worried about pitching coming into this year. And the pitching has, especially over the last little bit of time, been better than I thought it would. Granted, there have been bad moments. Tyson Neighbors gave up a go-ahead home run to Iowa in the ninth inning that we could have at least gone to extras. But regardless, I guess there was plenty of other issues in that game. Omaha, we definitely didn't have a fantastic game there either. We gave up a home run on the very first pitch of the game. That's suboptimal, I'd say. But and we walked 5 batters, only got 7 strikeouts. Not fantastic. Hit a couple batters as well. Not great. Not great. But the pitching hasn't been terrible. It's definitely like Borma has a bad ERA right now, but I don't think that's reflective. I sent this to Ace. There's a video of Borma with an overlay of his fastball, changeup, and either curve or slider, and it's really good.
Yeah,
like its break point is like pretty late, and his release is exactly the same, and that makes him a hard guy to hit off of. And definitely, they were saying on the broadcast that he was just kind of anxious before that first game, had the jitters, and that was obvious because he pitched really well against a team that is a fantastic power hitting team in LSU. So he did really good, and he deserves a ton of credit for that. And Wentworth is trying his best. Fajardo is up and down. He's kind of the same guy as last year. Sometimes he's on, sometimes he's not, and that's just Herman Fajardo. But yeah, the outfield's fine. Like, I hate to keep neglecting them in this commentary, but they they really do be existing, and that's about as far as it goes. They've had
Yeah.
some misplays and a couple of issues, but not enough to really throw them in the same category as the infield right now. And it's definitely been an uphill battle for this infield as things stand, especially with Kalen Culpepper being out. That makes things even harder. So I know it's a hard job to figure that out, but we want to win. We want to win baseball games, and we do not want to lose to Omaha. I'm going to, for a fun little exercise, I'm going to run through Omaha's schedule so far this year. For the record, they are currently playing at the time of recording. They are playing BYU and Provo. I will check the score, and this is the best that I will be able to do. So it will be incomplete compared to what we have now and what will be available at the time that you listen. It is 11-12 in the bottom of the 10th. That is not what I expected. All right. Omaha is losing. But actually, I think this means that BYU just won. Yeah, BYU just won. Anywho, BYU wins that game. First game of the season for Omaha. They lose 16-1 at UCLA. Next game, they lose 23-0 against UCLA. Then they lose 8-1 in the getaway game against UCLA. They go play a 4-game series of Fresno, lose 2-1, lose 3-2, lose 13-4. Then they win 1-0 with their lone run being a solo homer. And they beat us 7-6. The big thing you can take away from that is Omaha stat line: 1 run, 0 run, 1, 1, 2, 4, 1. And they dropped 7 against us. And
They tied their season lead in 1 inning.
they did. Good catch. And it's not a coincidence that we had 4 errors in this game, and generally didn't really play a very good game. We allowed some unearned runs in this game. In fact, we allowed 2 unearned runs as far as I can tell, which is the difference in this game. That's the difference between K-State L and a K-State dub right there. So yikes. I don't know what else to say or go from here. The Batcats have had a rough start to the year. There is a silver lining, which is they are about to play at home. And that generally means good things for Pete Hughes baseball. If we don't play well at home in the non-conference, then it's going to be a long, long season.
Y'all are going to have to check on me. Y'all are going to have to check on me. I may not be okay.
Yeah, I fear for your sanity if the Batcats start losing at home. That's going to be a dark day.
The problem is that Army was a regional team. Stonehill's bad, but Army was a regional team.
Yeah, that's a solid squad right there. Army is. At least they were. And Stonehill, I was unaware of their existence until they appeared on the schedule out of nowhere. Also, the format is really odd for our games. We play Army, then Stonehill the next day, then Army the next day, then Stonehill again the following day. So we have like a 4-game series, but we alternate teams. I'd rather not, but okay. It doesn't really matter, I guess.
Yeah, whatever.
But yeah, Army, I'm looking up Army's baseball schedule right now. They're 4-2 right now. Not a lot to draw from it. They've won both their series they played so far against Air Force and at Charlotte. They won both series 2-1. So
Stonehill's 0-4.
Let's hope that they remain winless, because if Stonehill beats us, then I might spontaneously combust. Like I don't know if I'd be able to mentally handle that.
Anyway,
let's just beat them 20-0.
Yeah, let's get let's get a bit of our swagger back, right?
Yeah.
Because if we don't, next week's episode might be worse than this one. But let's be done. let's be done for now.
Yeah. rough stretch for the Batcats, but there's more games to play.
Yeah,
Things could change.
indeed. But one thing that I never want to change is the weekly recap episode having the wacky segment of the week. So this week's wacky segment of the week is if one Big 12 coach had to imitate Mike Gundy for a day, who would do the best impression? So like assume that they get a pretty solid makeup team. It's all about imitating the actions of Mike Gundy rather than like the body type or the physicals.
Okay. I think tentatively, I'm going to start including new Big 12 schools
Okay.
in these. So I'm going to, because I mean, we're playing them this year.
Yeah.
So I feel like that's fair. I'm going to say Dana Holgerson of Houston.
Okay.
I don't know why, other than he kind of gives off Mike Gundy vibes. I think they both wear visors. So clearly they are the same.
Exactly. I that's pretty sound logic to me. I can't argue with that. My selection, however, is going to be someone who is leaving the Big 12 soon, and that is Brent Venables. And the reason I say that is because it's not because they're both coaching schools from Oklahoma. I think they just probably would have very similar outlooks on life. Mostly because Brent Venables learned from Bill Snyder and then Dabo Sweeney. You can read into that as much as you'd like. You can read into that as much as you would want. But I really do think that Brent Venables, like if they switched souls for like a day, like Freaky Friday style, I'm not sure many people would notice. I'm really not.
I don't know, man. It's gonna be interesting year for Oklahoma State football wise. Gundy this is a make or break season. This is Oklahoma State 2023 may go down in history as K-State 2018 when it's all said and done. And it honestly could be good timing for them. They just announced $350 million of facility updates and new sports up like facilities and stuff like that. So they can kind of usher in a new era of their sports complex. I think there's some football expansion going on with a new coach. So maybe they don't want to pay a new coach at the same time as they're paying for all these new facilities, but I don't know. I don't know. I know that's kind of off topic from the wacky segment, but it's not as if it has structure. But
No, bro, we spent like 20 minutes on an episode talking about the Sphinx and Mount Everest. Who cares?
that is true for like the 20% of our audience that listens to this part. But
But do you have any final notes for the episode, Connor?
no, I do not.
I don't either. So
Wait,
thank
no,
you
I
all.
do have one.
Oh,
I do have one. Um, I uh I am enjoying all of the updates that are happening at the Big 12 tournament. The like new camera angles and being in the huddle and stuff is cool.
oh,
But
yeah.
I will say that I'm very interested in the concession items that they have. They're specific to each team. I think that was a fun thing that they did.
Oh yeah, the Wabash Cannon Dog.
Yeah, I think we got the best name out of
Yeah.
everything. I will say I'm very skeptical. I don't like Relish already. Purple Relish makes it even more skeptical.
Yeah.
I hate to say it, but I honestly am most interested in the like Jayhawk like mac and cheese. Like I thought that looked really good. It was mac and cheese, pulled pork, some like onion strings. I think it sounded really good actually. Then there's like a Dr Pepper float. They didn't know what to do for Baylor, so they just gave him a Dr Pepper float. That's exactly what they like. Everybody else got like something at least close to thematically correct, and they just looked at. I mean, I guess Dr Pepper's kind of like a Texas thing, so I get it, but it does, even though like it is like thematically on point, it feels like it's not. If that makes any sense, but
yeah.
no, I don't know why I had to interrupt the ending of the episode just to say, hey, concession items at the Big 12 tournament. Like anybody cares, but
It's our show, man. If we
that
care,
is
that's all that
true.
matters.
That is true. So just wanted to bring that up. Might try and make it to the game, even if whether K-State's playing or not. So because my spring break will be happening around that time. So
I'll be in Tennessee and Georgia, so
you won't be making it to
I
the
won't
game.
be making it there. But yeah, thank you all for listening to this episode of the Aggieville Alleycats podcast. If you want to contact or follow the show, you can follow us on Twitter at Aggieville Alleycats and Instagram at the same handle. If you want to email us, we're AggieVilleAlleycats@gmail.com. If you want to follow us on a more personal note, I am at ACEdwards00.
I am at Connor Balthazar, capital C, capital B.
And if you want to support the show financially, please be sure to check out the official Aggieville Alleycats merch store, where you can find such designs as the staff-approved Doomtang Clan, Play Sandstorm Cowards, and Neon Alleycats. But most importantly, thank you all for listening to this episode of the Aggieville Alleycats podcast, where come rain, shine, or anything in between, we're here to deliver to you the Kansas State sporting news that you so love. Stay safe, Alleycats.